Now let's move around a bit, otherwise you might get a little uncomfortable. All right, let's continue with the journey to the West. Today we're covering from the Chetsun Dzogchen, the second mind training. Second mind training. All states of happiness in samsara, although temporarily appearing to be pleasurable, eventually lead to suffering, like eating a poisonous fruit. This means that in the cyclic existence of samsara, all sorts of things that may bring joy and pleasure are temporary. Although they appear to be pleasant on the surface, in the end samsara can only bring you suffering. There's nothing else. Its underlying nature is suffering. So we might temporarily feel some kind of happiness, like getting rich, or the worldly pleasures that people call happiness. These do exist temporarily, but most people have no idea. Through movies, television, or what others tell them, after coming into this world, they always believe there's truly some eternal unchanging happiness. And they run around chasing it. Since ancient times, many people have been running around in pursuit of happiness, striving for love, and so on. There are many beautiful words for it, but in reality, in the end, they get nothing. It all comes to naught. It's like eating something poisonous. Even if it tastes sweet after eating it, it will take your life. It brings no benefit at all. Clinging to happiness in samsara is the same as swallowing poison. If you fall prey to temporary pleasure and indulge in negative deeds, you are bound to suffer endlessly in the future. Just like when the poisonous fruit ripens, it's meaningless. In the end, so many things still lead to great suffering. Now the third mind. Training, the various circumstances that occur in life never reach a conclusion, like pursuing a mirage. This means that for the purpose of enjoying some temporary pleasure, people spend all their energy doing everything possible to avoid suffering. For the purpose of enjoying good food, wearing fine clothes and owning abundant possessions, they struggle and strive. But all these pursuits have no real substance. Living in this world, we certainly need to make effort in these areas. But in reality, these things have no real substance. It's like when animals are driven by thirst, they mistake the water of a mirage for real water and keep chasing it, but find not a drop of water. This is a crucial point you must understand. As I just mentioned, for ordinary people, many things are such that they really don't know the truth. We too are ordinary people, but among ordinary people, at least we have encountered these profound treatises and scriptures. So at least in theory, we basically understand. Sometimes when we look at people around us, so many people, over 90%, are striving only for themselves. Those who think of others, almost none. Over 90% of people are just striving for this superficial happiness. But those who actually attain it are few and far between. So sometimes it's quite important for us to understand these key points. All the wealth and fame, peace and happiness, reputation and prestige in this life are all impermanent by nature. They have no inherent existence at all. We must cut off all attachment to them, try as much as possible to let go of our clinging to them. This is very important. For example, some people had abundant wealth last year, but this year became beggars. This happens, especially during the pandemic. Some who were extremely wealthy before ended up during the pandemic struggling just to survive. Some leaders used to have half of a country's population under their control, but in the end they became prisoners. Everyone knows what happened to them in the end. They became inmates with no freedom whatsoever, confined to a tiny cell of just a few square meters, sharing the space with a few others. So think about it in this world. There's really so much we should understand beforehand. And there are those who suffered untold misery last year but became quite rich and happy this year. Especially during the pandemic, some made fortunes, some got promoted. There were all kinds of changes. Not everyone had bad luck. Especially in times of war, especially during famines, those with merit suddenly started prospering. Without merit, no matter how well you were doing before, things will change. So there is no need to be happy about having wealth or feel sorrow for being poor. Let's not do that. All the worldly worrying about gain and loss doesn't mean much either. We should recognize that everything is impermanent, especially when examining whether wealth is truly useful. Suppose one of you here today owns several $billion while another has only $10,000. Actually, beyond food, clothing, housing, and transportation, even more money won't be of much use. 10,000, His Holiness mentioned $10,000 at the time. $10,000 can still be put to some use. Actually, nowadays in places like the United States, there are quite a lot of homeless people. Some of them live stream every day, showing what life is like as a homeless person, how they spend their days, where they sleep at night, the whole thing. In this age of the internet, some people walk all the way to Lhasa with a few dogs and live stream the entire journey, 7 months of it. There are so many strange things happening in this world. Different places have all kinds of situations. So in the US, some people have billions, while others have just a little. $10,000 is still something. So billions of dollars is just a number. It won't be of much use to you. There's no point in desperately chasing it. His Holiness also knew that billions is just a number. People nowadays like to say that for the wealthy, so-called money is just numbers changing in a bank account. They don't feel anything about it. Indeed, when you have a lot of money, you might not feel much. Having too little is painful. But for those in between, money can actually be quite useful. For instance, for someone who is sick or in great hardship, if money can truly help them survive or truly cut through their suffering, then money is not entirely useless. Especially for Mahayana practitioners, money does serve a purpose in a certain sense. If you have no money at all, it's quite difficult for us practitioners too. So I often advise, whether it's our lay practitioners or monastics, don't be too greedy for money, but also don't be a moonlight clan who spends everything each month. Having nothing left is also quite painful. Many people nowadays can't get by financially. Every time the end of the month comes, they just stare into space, praying to Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, reciting wealth mantras. That's quite painful too. So when you do have a little money, it's best not to spend it all. Some people start reciting prayers. In our academy, some recite scriptures every day, working so hard at their recitations. Then when the end of the month comes, they immediately rush to make offerings to their teacher, pay for divinations, pay for fortune-telling. Some people are rather foolish about this. You'd be better off not spending that money at all. Just recite prayers for yourself. Beyond that, you don't have to take on extra work. It's exhausting. After getting some money, some people use what they earn for medical treatment and medicine. That's very important. This is truly necessary. But some spend it all on divination fees, fortune-telling fees, and all sorts of other things. Well, their spirit is commendable, I suppose. The pursuit of happiness in samsara will find no end, however hard you try. But sadly, most people in the world struggle day and night only for food, clothing, housing, and transportation. This is really true. Many people nowadays can barely survive. Life is very, very difficult. For monastics like us, the pressure is somewhat less. But if you're an only child, there might still be pressure because monastics nowadays can't earn money. What do you do when your parents get sick? That's a bit difficult too. But compared to others, it's still relatively better. However, for many lay people, things are changing so fast now. Your job, your life. There's so much uncertainty. So I also hope that for lay people, if you have a little bit of money, it's best not to rush to spend it all. Keep some savings for yourself. If you truly don't need it, spending money is easy. You can always find ways to spend it. If you have accumulated enough merit, you will naturally succeed. If you lack merit, however hard you try, you will not get rid of poverty. All your effort will be in vain. That was the third mind training. Now the fourth mind training. What His Holiness is holding here appears to be a crystal mala. I wonder if this is the one from the crystal we see in the second volume. But this might be a different crystal. This throne should be over here. Some of the photos of His Holiness in here are really beautiful. This mala on His Holiness's ear. Later on, His Holiness distributed these malas to us. I have one now. Yes, let's continue with the fourth mind training. The fourth mind training among the three sections states, The activities of this life are always pointless, like the good and bad dreams in a single night. This means that all the various activities we engage in during this life, such as fighting with enemies, caring for family members, doing business or farming, are all without substantial meaning, just like what happens in a dream during sleep. Regarding the truth that life is like a dream, some people live happy lives from birth, while some undergo all kinds of hardships and miseries. But if you think about it, all these experiences are no different from the joys and sorrows in last night's dream. There's no difference at all. In last night's dream, there were also joys and sorrows. Now they have become merely a memory, with nothing tangible left. And the ups and downs we've experienced since we came into this world have all become the past. So these two do not have the slightest difference. In the same manner, all the pleasures and sadness you're going to experience in the future are no different from what will happen in tomorrow night's dream. Although they appear to exist, the moment they have disappeared, they will have become merely a memory with nothing tangible to be found. Let me cover one more. Let me see how many we've done. The fifth mind training. The result of sublime liberation is that suffering never returns like an individual cured of smallpox. This means some will probably wonder, if all kinds of happiness and fame in samsara have no substance, is there anything that has significant meaning that should be put into practice? If the result of liberation is attained, such as the bodhisattva bhumis or Buddhahood, this state of happiness will never decline and is forever free from suffering. For instance, there is an infectious disease called smallpox. It's said that the Shunji emperor died of smallpox. There's this account, right? I think that's how it was portrayed on TV dramas too. Later, Kangxi ascended to the throne at a very young age. That's the story, right? Some say Shunji actually went to Mount Wutai to become a monk. It wasn't proper to say so, so they said he passed the throne to Kangxi. Anyway, smallpox has existed throughout history. Once you are cured of it, you will never get infected again. Unlike our recent pandemic, with that, you could get infected the first time, second time, third time. By the end, you didn't even notice the infections anymore. It became milder than a common cold. So no need to fear, right? In the same manner, once you achieve liberation, you will never again experience suffering. Therefore, you must try as soon as you can to apply and practice the skillful means toward attaining liberation. All right, we'll stop here for today.
Chetsun Dzogchen